My parents immigrated to Canada early on. I wasn't even born yet. So we didn't have a lot growing up. We had a lot of attention, we had a lot of affection and love, but we didn't have a lot of things. And anytime we did get something, like if I were to get a little dress from someone that was a hand-me-down from somebody else, my mom it would always come with a cautionary, take care of that because you need to pass that on to somebody else. Right, so make sure you're taking care of your things because you're going to pass them on again, so someone else can experience that same joy that I did when I received it. I think that we were helped when we were younger and when we were growing up, and I saw my parents working really hard, and I saw my parents being helped by their community of people, and it just instills something in you that it makes helping people feel good because you know how good it feels to be helped. I think that MAC as a brand, because it was founded by my brother and his partner. I was fortunate enough to be a part of that team from the get-go, but my brother and his partner grew up in very similar families. So we understood the value of giving back and doing something when you can. And when MAC started to become really successful, there was an opportunity to do something for people that were living and dying with AIDS. And so we did that through the Viva Glam lipstick. And we felt we had a certain responsibility. We thought, let's use that power of the success that we're having to do good for people. So when we sold the cosmetics business, we created a family foundation and started to look for ways that we could be as impactful and as meaningful as possible. We were relatively small, but we wanted to ensure that we had sort of the greatest bang for our buck. And we started researching. I was really lucky because I was charged with, hey, come up with something, Julie, come up with an idea, come up with a way that you think that we could have a really meaningful impact. So I started to do some research, and I brought the founding team of the foundation together, and we had a consultant come in, and she started speaking to us about the social service sectors and all of the different opportunities within the social service sector. And there was, homelessness and hunger and addiction and and there were all of these things, and we were all sort of looking at each other going, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Everything was pulling at our heartstrings. And I remember sitting back thinking, we are not going to be effective if we water ourselves down like this and just sit in an office and sign checks to these different organizations. We need to find a way to do more. I'd spent some time visiting communities in different parts of the world and seeing poverty and unfairness at a level that I'd never experienced it before. And every time I would leave those communities, I would think, wait a second, I can't do anything if I'm not living near, close to, feeling, truly understanding the needs of the people living in those communities. And I realized then the importance of ensuring that everything that we do starts at a community level and engages the community. They're the ones that should be making the decisions for where support and funding goes. How do we get that happening within communities across the country? I knew for sure that I did not want to sit in my office in, the city of Toronto signing checks to different organizations in communities that I knew nothing about. But how on earth do we get people in those communities telling us what it is they need? It was really important to us that we got the greatest bang for our buck. So we didn't just want to get money into communities. We wanted to ensure that there was more value added to that exchange. It wasn't, let's just grant. It was, let's grant, and what else can we do while we're making that happen? And then I thought, schools. Let's do this in a school system where the infrastructure already exists. We don't then have to hire 20 people to be in 100 schools across Canada. We can be a small group that just make sure this is happening at the grassroots level. So we developed a curriculum that we put into high schools. It becomes a mandated part of a program within the schools. Students take it, They learn about charities, they learn about community, they learn presentation skills, they learn research skills, they learn how to communicate with executive directors, they learn how to speak to people with the needs of these different social service organizations. So not only are we granting to charities in those communities, everyone a part of this process is learning. Because the students make decisions for where the funding goes, it gets to organizations across a variety of sectors. There's food insecurity, homelessness, support for refugees, mental health is a big issue that students are concerned about. $5,000 gets granted to one charitable organization at every school that we work with every year. Educators in the school system are really happy to be delivering our curriculum. They see what it does, not only for the culture of the school, but it actually gives them some really good content that meets the curriculum expectations that they're supposed to be teaching anyway. Over the more than 20 years that we have been running YPI in schools, I continue to be amazed by the impacts that we're having on the students and what it is they tell us. We often hear from charities who have either received a grant from YPI or they have just met the student YPI groups who say how great it is that these students help create awareness for the organization or the issue that these charities are trying to speak about. So students are actually doing that for them. As part of their presentation, they will sometimes prepare materials that charities will use on their websites. The mandate and mission of YPI has always been to get money to local, grassroots social service organizations and to people in need right now. We just happen to find a really great way to do that through YPI. So not only are we granting to organizations in need, we're engaging hundreds of thousands of young people in that process. YPI is very easily scalable. And there are hundreds, thousands of schools and communities that this program can be in, hundreds and thousands of communities that we could be helping. And we have the ability to do that. We're just looking for funding partners who want to do the same thing. We're looking to partner with people that want to make a difference now, that want to help people with immediate needs now, and who will be really happy with the bonus of knowing they're educating hundreds of thousands of young people in that process. We do so much good for so little. I mean, we really are an impactful, incredible way to get money out to people in need right now. And we can do more of that, and I know the need is there. So I know that people are living in our communities that could be getting supported, and they're not. And the only reason they're not is that we're working to build more partnerships so that we can get people the support they need.